I'm very I'm very interested to see where OnlyFans goes.
I mean,
with the video format.
Oh my God. You can see whole in 8K.
Well, they have no, like, because OnlyFans is starting to get is starting to promote musicians, right?
Oh, really? Are they?
Yeah, have you not heard about this?
So I knew that, like, when they started it, it's not like they set out to be like, we're gonna be the premier amateur porn website. I know that, like, they just wanted to build a platform,
yeah,
right?
they just wanted to build a platform for people that had content that wanted to charge for it,
right?
But it wound up being like fucking Thought Central.
Well, it's fucking depressing, and this is like.
Well, a lot of things are fucking depressing, but hit me.
Well, okay, so this is how you know we're close to the end times. Is
Oh, God, already.
That Cash Me Outside, bitch.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In one goddamn day.
One day.
Made more money than,
more
like,
money
I'll ever see in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, but here's the thing, man. Like, she was one of the last people, I remember when she got a record deal. I mean, it's a cash cow. You know what I mean? It's just a straight up... And I can't explain it, and everybody thinks it's stupid. And if you go on her YouTube, like, she's got way more dislikes than she has likes. But the thing of it is, like, people still watched it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, it's just about the engagement, right? So
yeah, exactly.
And, like, I don't have any ill will toward her. The reason why I say, like, this is the end times is not because of her. It's because of all the morons that will give people like that money.
I know. And that's, I mean, and here's the thing, like, it's so weird because you talk to people that you know, and everybody says it's stupid. But it's like, then you look at the views and it's just through the roof. So it's like, I know some of y'all watch this shit. Like, which one of y'all was it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who the fuck it was.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man. I guess, I mean, I'm not trying to sound elitist. I mean, there's definitely stupid shit on the internet that I like, for sure.
I love some stupid shit on the internet, but I feel like it's...
But I just don't know, like, I just don't, I don't understand how someone could just, like, have an outburst on some shitty daytime TV show and then leverage that into, like, a multi-million-dollar career.
Right. So I'll tell you what. Since we're recording this, let's you want to start with the proper podcast format?
I don't even really.
Should we do that?
Okay, so what's the format?
All right, I guess I'm thinking the format is. Hey everybody out there, welcome to Everything is Stupid. This is a podcast that may or may not actually reach human ears. It may not. This might just be for fun, but if it's for fun, it's a lot. I'm having fun.
I mean, we've been doing it consistently for like 2 months. It's been fun.
We have.
And I set my goal, like, I think we'll be doing great if like 3 people other than us listen to it. So
that's kind of cool. So yeah, what do we? Should we introduce ourselves? I don't.
I mean, I want to stay pretty anonymous, to be honest with you.
I do too.
Yeah.
I see no need to,
I mean, I know we recorded the ones before. We didn't put them out, but I mean, I think I called Marjorie Taylor Greene a cunt the first time we ever recorded everything.
Possible,
so
I've said a lot of shit. I know I have.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice being able to say some shit.
Yeah, and I plan on using the word retard gratuitously.
Yeah, retard's acceptable. I think if I've been thinking about this one, and I think if I had to put like the purpose of this podcast or broadcast or what have you would be just there's definitely some catharsis here, but I think the general thrust of things is, both of us are, maybe like older millennials or zennials.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of on that cusp, right?
Yeah, and I think both of us are having a very difficult time in the... Not necessarily just the political climate, because it's more than politics, I think, that we're talking about. I guess, like, just the times in which we find ourselves, I think it seems to me that there are so many instances where you're kind of faced with a decision, whether it be between two politicians, whether it be between two products, whether it be between, like, two ways to spend your time, or even more ways, and both of them are just fucking dumb. They're stupid, hence the name.
Everything is stupid.
Everything is stupid, and because it's like, and it's like, what is, and I don't know, man. I generally get the sneaking suspicion that there are a lot of people out there, like us. I don't know about you, but I talk to all my friends. I talk to people older than me. I talk to people younger than me.
Right.
So it's certainly not exclusive. It's certainly not a generational thing, but it just seems to me that, like, most of the people I know, it's like we're just, in a store trying on clothes that don't fit. I think politics are a good example of that phenomenon.
Yeah. But it's broader culture.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think the reason why people sort of in our age group are frustrated is because the Gen Xers never really stood up and took over, right? And so
really.
It's like our legacy institutions is pretty much run by boomers, and our cultural institutions seem like they're being overrun with people younger than us.
Yeah, no. It's who was? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say, like, both the boomers and the millennials, they have different sensibilities than we do, and with them controlling, like, legacy institutions of power as well as, like, a lot of the cultural influence at the moment, it's like we're kind of in no man's land.
We kind of are. I mean, yeah, and I think, like, who was the comedian that you were, like...
Tim Dillon?
It was Tim Dillon that was talking about, like, the boomers are just never gonna die.
Yeah.
That was, like, people were
like
talking...
HIV, financial crisis, Iraq War.
People were talking about the pandemic being the boomer remover, and it's like, I guess again.
I mean, 500,000 is more like a dent, but not enough to seal the deal.
I hate saying it like that.
Well, like 80% of that 500,000 is older people, right?
I know. Yeah, they are. Thing is, though, like, there are still, believe it or not, there are still some greatest generation members kicking around.
That's like the people who fought in World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't...
They're not all, like, because the boomers are, like, not quite 80.
Yeah, my mom would be like a young boomer. So my mom is 62. She just turned 62.
Yeah, my dad's...
She'd be like a younger one.
My dad's 46, and he's like... He's...
Born in 46.
Born in 1946. So I guess that makes him 75.
Yeah.
And he's an older boomer, so... I guess boomers start in, like, 42, really.
I think it's post-war, right? So probably more like 45, 46.
44, yeah. Well, but that's the thing, though, is I know that, like, a couple of the Beatles were born before the war was actually over.
Right.
Like, I want to say John Lennon was born in 1940 because he was 40 years old when he was killed in 1980.
Okay.
I think that's right. I could be. I mean, I'll fact check this shit later. But yeah. So anyway, the point being that, like, it would be conceivable to be sometime in the 1940s.
Right.
But either way, that puts you, like, boomers are younger than 80. And if that's, or 80 and younger, I feel like 80. I mean, World War II is a very cauterizing.
Right.
Very, very galvanizing event, obviously. So it's like you either lived through that or you didn't.
Right.
So I feel like, that being said, I think there is still a significant number. There is still a significant percentage of population, like 80 and up, 90 and up. I mean, I don't think they're anywhere near as numerous as the boomers, but they're still there. How old was John McCain when he died?
He was in his 70s. He had to be in his 70s. He was pretty old.
Yeah.
But, he was a POW. It, fucked him up pretty permanently for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah,
I kind of. I did find all like the dick sucking around John McCain dying to be kind of annoying.
I liked McCain though, and what's really funny, and just to kind of show you like how deep the rabbit hole goes here, and just kind of the thrust of what we're talking about. Like my dad voted for Trump twice. Like
yeah, I'm sure he did.
yeah, I don't think my dad voted. I don't think my dad's voted blue as long as I've been alive. I don't even think he voted for Clinton over like Bob Dole, which is like a bad move, dude. Like, but anyway, my dad didn't like John McCain.
I mean the thing. So it's not so much, just like him. I don't have any respect for these Republicans who were in power during the Iraq War that like people when we were in college were getting sent off to. And they look back on that without an ounce of remorse or contrition anything like that.
That's fair.
So, I mean, that's the main thing, like I would think this far on that even the most like fervent supporters of it could at least admit like we fucked up and actually show some sort of like empathy toward, the people that were killed over here and the people that came back with like traumatic PTSD and all that kind of shit,
So do you think? Because I've heard it put a couple different ways. Do you think that the war in and of itself was a mistake, or do you think that how the war was sold, and I do mean sold, to the general populace was a mistake?
I mean, I think the war in and of itself was a mistake from the beginning.
Okay.
And I was, I mean, we live in a red, or what was a red state, very much so in 2003, 2004.
Right.
And like all my friends were Republicans, and I was like pretty anti-war from the beginning. And I got a lot of this sort of like, why do you support the terrorists? Like nonsense. You know what I mean?
And that's what I think we're talking about here.
Yeah.
It's like just because I don't hop on a bandwagon doesn't mean I'm on the other fucking bandwagon, guys. Like
yeah, and that's why I offer no quarter to those people when they die. Now it's like you called me a terrorist sympathizer for telling you to not invade a country that had nothing to do with 9/11.
Yeah. I
agree.
and
now I'm supposed to feel bad for you because you fucking died. I mean, you were in a position of power, like a position of policy making, and you basically signed off on hundreds of thousands of people's deaths.
That's fair. That is fair. I mean,
like Afghanistan, I think you could at least make a more coherent argument for, at least for the initial
Osama bin Laden,
right, going after bin Laden. Like I think you can make a legitimate argument for that. So I think that's a little bit gray, but there's obviously no reason to still be there now.
No, I don't think so. I think with, with Biden and everything, like, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't surprised. I really wasn't surprised at all, to see like some saber rattling from Iran and all that sort of thing, because it's business as usual. You know what I mean? And that was, I think that's definitely like a really valid point of view. Particularly when you consider like the Obama era and everything, that it's just like, why is this guy painted as like the sort of moral? Just why does he get off the hook? You know what I mean?
Biden
or even Obama, like I said,
because they're on the right team,
and that's what I mean.
They're
and
on
the
team that most television media is on and most print media is on.
Yeah,
but they're still reprehensible people. Like so my cousin came down for Easter, and he is kind of a Trump guy, and my mom, she didn't start out as like pro-Trump, but I think she felt because of the way a lot of the left-leaning media treated him, it made her like reflexively more sympathetic toward Trump. And And so when he came down, we were sitting around the table and they were talking politics and yada, yada, yada. And just like
like you do.
Yeah, and just recycling the same talking points that like Biden's a socialist and Republicans are all great and all this stuff. And I just like,
which they're not.
And I just let them talk like back and forth for 50 minutes and they looked at me and they're like, what do you think? And I literally said to them, I said, none of this is real. None of this is real. Because
you give the Kafka-esque answer.
Well, it's just like, it doesn't matter what they rhetorically say. At the end of the day, like the elites run the country.
Right.
And the elites will always run the country regardless of who's in office.
Right. And that's what I try to explain to people. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like, I'm definitely going to get to like, bashing the right side of the aisle in a moment. Don't think for just 1 second because I've mentioned Obama and Biden that they're off the hook in any way, shape, or form.
No.
But I just for one thing, I think it's important. Like I said, I think it's important to kind of start with like just this notion of. I feel like so oftentimes, like the Democrats can, they sort of claim the moral high ground.
Yeah.
And I don't see how it's true. I don't see how it's true.
So, like, the best articulation I've ever heard, or analogy, I guess would be the way to say it, of the charade that is our political system is, I know I mentioned him to you before, but this right-wing anarchist named Michael Malice.
Yeah.
He compares the mainstream political parties to, like, the WWF.
Yeah.
And basically, Republicans have agreed to be the heels, and the Dems are the baby faces.
And that's exactly...
And they get treated accordingly.
And that was... I want to say I read an article in The New Yorker, of all places, when Trump was elected, that was just talking about, like, this is theater at its finest. Like, it almost seemed to me that, like, so many of the left-wingers... Like, it's almost like they wanted Trump in office because it's an excuse to buy a ticket to the show, and throw your drink at the guy.
Yeah, it's easy fodder.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like now you get to wake up every morning. Here, I'll pull something off of my phone. God, this is old. This is something I think I wrote. I save my thoughts on my phone a lot, so.
That's fine.
But here, I want to see.
While you're looking for that, just in like the way I explained it to my mom and my aunt, I didn't really use the wrestling analogy. I just put it like even more sort of matter of factly. It's like no matter who the president is, the Treasury Secretary will most likely have come from Goldman Sachs. The Federal Reserve, the head of the Fed will mostly have come from Goldman Sachs. And when you think about it, like look at the Supreme Court. I haven't looked it up, but I would bet good money that like 99% of them either went to Harvard, Yale, or UPenn. They all probably clerked for like the same, you know what I mean? It's just this super insular bubble that only cares about maintaining its power, and whatever they say rhetorically to just everyday people is totally irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
Did you find that thing?
I did find that thing. I did find that thing. Here, I'll read you this. So I write sometimes stuff I don't want to post on social media just because social media.
Right.
Let me see. Trump. This is October 3rd, 2017.
Wow, deep cut.
Yeah, right. Trying to sum it all up, this is the best I got. Trump is shameful, and the left is totally justified in their outrage, but their solutions are preposterous. It feels like it all boils down to masculinity. Trump is the prime example of toxic masculinity. However, the left seems to associate all masculinity with toxicity. Neither are true. Does that make sense? You know, it's weird. Trump is hated, reviled, and represents everything the left purports to abominate. Yet, strangely, I get the feeling that the left wants him there. They want him in power because now they have something to focus on. They have something with a name and a face. They have a way to forge an identity. They have a purpose and a scapegoat. For the next 4 years, they get to wake up every morning and hate Trump. They get to prostrate their own feelings of inadequacy on the altar of social justice and call it art or work or something. I don't even know. He's horrible, but to his biggest detractors, he is practically necessary. He's their proof that their inability to conceive of a decent white man is a truth, and not just a phantom of their own collective psyche. He's carte blanche to play the victim. He is the penultimate excuse. He's a heel. Ever watch pro wrestling? The heel is the term for the villain, but not just any villain. He's the megalomaniac, the egotist, the narcissist. He's a scumbag and proud of it. He cheats brazenly, he fights dirty, and he doesn't care what you think. Ric Flair, Macho Man Savage, Mr. Perfect, The Rock. They love themselves more than you love anything. He's the guy you love to hate. It feels good to boo at him because he beats your heroes underhandedly. And you watch because you can't wait for him to lose, knowing how good it's going to feel. He creates the drama. Without him, it's just two guys in tights. It's too tense without him. To root for him is taboo, but people still do it because to love him is to be him. Because he's all the things they want to be but can't. Make sense? That's Trump. He's a necessary evil in the truest sense. Although, frankly, if he's necessary to you, you're out of your fucking mind.
I do love me some Ric Flair, though.
Woo!
He's the best, man. Fucking love that, man. No, that's really well put. I think I don't think I could have written anything that coherent. Like just stream of conscious. Like it would have taken me like a couple hours to get that out, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like. There's a lot in there. So what you were saying,
it's a lot to unpack.
Yeah,
as the saying goes.
As the fucking NPR bitch would say.
NPR bitch.
Man, you know that's one thing that the sort of reaction to Trump really killed for me. Certain things I used to like. Like I used to really like Fresh Air on NPR, and then the moment Trump won. It's like they just all collectively lost their goddamn minds.
I used to like Saturday Night Live.
I mean, I hadn't liked that in like 15, 20 years. But.
I had warmed up to it, but it was kind of like, God damn, guys. Like, we get it.
I get it, Orange Man bad. Like, I don't need to get beaten over the fucking head with it every day, all day.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I mean, it's like the other criticisms are no better. So you were talking about Biden and Obama, right? So... the criticisms of Obama I would hear would be he golfs too much. He wore a camel suit. You know, like all this stupid shit. He went on an apology tour even though he never apologized to anyone for anything. Yeah. And it's like, why don't we just, you know, criticize him for perpetuating this war that he ran a campaign against ending? And
yeah, can we criticize him for like, you know, basically at least beginning the discussion on removal of net neutrality.
Yeah.
You know, can we criticize him for like freedom of information? Can we criticize him
spying on American citizens?
Exactly.
But you know, this is the problem with those John McCain types that I was talking about earlier. They couldn't criticize him that stuff because that's stuff they wanted. You know what I mean? That's all stuff they supported.
And that's the point, right? And yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is it's like, what are you supposed to do when both parties support big government?